Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Myron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to share with you guys a program called Zapier. What it does, how it works, why you might need to know about it. Now, this is not a new program by any stretch of the imagination. It has been around for a while. It works. It's just so good. Honestly, it is the best. Why would you use it? Why do you need to use it? How does it work? And all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to dive into that right now. So Zapier is a API interface. So it is a application program interface. It basically allows you to connect two completely non-native integrating apps and put them together. So what does that mean? There are so many apps out there, right? You've probably used a million of them. I'm looking at my website, or better yet, my home screen on my computer right now, and I have HubSpot, YouTube, LinkedIn, QuickBooks, Grammarly, eClincher, Kajabi, Ubersuggest, ClickUp. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? So that's good. I'm glad I use all those things, but not all of them work together, especially not natively. Now, what does natively mean? Natively means that there is already a pre-built integration. So you don't have to use this program, but not, in many cases, that's not always the case, right? Some programs just won't work with other programs natively. Now, why is that? Because the company didn't take the time and energy and effort to go work on that. It wasn't high enough in their tier list. It's nothing against the company. It's just, that takes time, energy, and effort. And then they got to work with the other company and set it all up so that it works and all that kind of stuff, right? And what goes on in the back end, I do not know. But Zapier allows pretty much almost any program to work with another program based on a variety of criteria. Now, this is the non-native way to do it. Whereas the native way would just be, hey, you go into your HubSpot, you just click, yep, add, done, and you're all good. But for a lot of people, that's not always the case. Or they're not paying for the premium versions of software that would allow this integration to just naturally happen. So Zapier now allows you to kind of skate around the back end, where a lot of programs will actually have a native Zapier integration because they understand the value and the importance of having that, because it works with just about anything. And guys like myself and other smart individuals out there can go out there and build these things. Now, I'm just saying we're smart because it is a little bit complex. And I actually want to show you guys a Zap that I just made to allow somebody to send a text message, or allow us to send in a text message to brand new leads that come in. Hey, Harrison, grab some time on our calendar, right? That's the good stuff. So I want to show you guys a little bit about Zapier, why you might need it and all that kind of stuff. And really, the functionality of it is incredible. It honestly, when it works right, it works so well. Now, I will preface all of this is there are times that this might break. Software update, Zapier doesn't get it in time, breaks the connection, right? It's all about building these connections and routing data essentially to where you want it to go inside the program. So let me share my screen really quick and we will dive right into it. So right here we have Zapier. This is the Explore page, and it's cool. Like, you have most popular CRM, email, marketing by role, right? And it really is just amazing. Like, you probably recognize a lot of these, right? We have ClickFunnels right here. We have WordPress. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have an RSS feed. MailChimp. That's actually SurveyMonkey. Google Docs, I think. Google Forms, Calendar, right? So these are, I mean, the list is pretty gigantic here, and it allegedly, I'm getting confused here because it's such an astronomically large number, but it integrates with 3,000 plus apps. I mean, that's a tremendous number. A huge number, and these are just some of the apps that it'll go and integrate into. Now, when it says premium means it won't qualify as your 5 free zaps that it gives you, or a multi-step zap. You need to pay for that. But otherwise, if I wanted to integrate Micro with OmniFocus, which I don't know what either of those are, you could go in and do that, right? Mandrill, Patreon, right? Redtail CRM. I mean, these all work with it, right? But what you do with them, who knows? I mean, I don't know what a lot of these are. There's literally 3,000 apps. There's no way I could possibly know what they all are. SQL Server, right? SharpSpring, Zillow, Tech Connect. I mean, Fresh Sales. There's Salesforce Pardot, right? I know Salesforce Pardot is a marketing platform, right? Maybe I want to integrate that with my HubSpot account or another platform, or maybe it's a Swipe Pages account. So you can go in by roles, right? Accountant, right? And it's just going to tell you guys what we need to know. In this case, I'm a marketer, so I'm just going to click marketers, and it's going to just immediately shrink down that size of that list to different apps that I would find valuable. So if you're a marketer, these will all look very familiar immediately to you. And there's some pretty cool things. So you can filter. These are all native Zapier or Zaps, which means Zapier built these into it. So filter by Zapier, webhooks, formatter by Zapier, email by Zapier, paths by Zapier. You could do so much. And when I say paths, if this, then that. Super, super cool. Airtable, project management, right? You have Typeform, Unbounce, Pipedrive. My favorite, HubSpot. I have a whole video about that in the past. Go check that out. Slack. Squarespace, Asana, Calendly, Code by Zapier. The list goes on and on. And this is all this is all what it thinks for marketing, but maybe a marketing's integrating with something else. So I'm just going to show you guys some of the Zap that I built. I usually build these on client accounts. So that way, if the client decides to leave, they could take it with them. We use a couple Zaps natively in-house. We try to do things native where it's one app into the other, but that always doesn't work, right? Or we don't have a premium version of a software that we really want. So this is a great way to get around that. But you could set it up where, MailChimp triggers a text message, or a new HubSpot contact triggers a MailChimp send out because you like MailChimp better than you like HubSpot. There's a million different reasons why you would want to use this. Webflow, huge program that we use here, or we use in my agency. Squarespace, another one. Google or better, Microsoft Excel forms, right? In a past video, I did Facebook groups where I can then have this go into that Microsoft Excel document or that Google Excel document, pull that data and fire off an email right away to whatever platform I use or want to use, and I don't have to pick a native platform that works with group leads, right? Or I think it's called group leads. I'm just actually double checking here. Group collector, sorry. So in this case, that's what it can do. There's tons of different roles in here. It's pretty cool. Just depends on what you want. Office manager. I don't know what the office managers use, but apparently they use MailChimp, Outlook, which is great, Excel, a lot of the same stuff. Responder. Don't know what that is. SMTP by Zapier. I know what SMTP is. Dropbox, Acuity, scheduling, right? Basecamp. All really important things. Discord, for whatever reason. ClickUp, we use ClickUp in the office, right? And the cool part is when you use something like ClickUp and you want to send out a text message or an email, every time you move something through ClickUp, you can have it trigger a new action. And that's the best part about having these native Zaps in here. So delay by Zapier, email by Zapier, right? Paths by Zapier, formatted by Zapier. Like, these are all things that are going to help you in just making things work and connect the way you really, really want them to. So that's really it. It's kind of technical. I'm going to show you guys just the process that we go through here. And like I said, if we're working with a client, typically we'll just build it on their account. It just makes life so much easier. If they choose to leave, great. They can at least see it. And then we always just add, we have the username and password for it. But this is just this app that I've built pretty recently. So it's new sales message, right? The old one broke. I will preface this though. Like I said, so things do break in Zapier. You need to know how to use this platform, or have your agency or whomever you're using on call, or like, hey, this Zap broke. Can you come fix it? I really need it, right? So just keep that in mind. If things aren't working the way they should be working, go through, always check your Zaps. They shouldn't break that often, but it also depends on the age of the software and things like that. If you have a new software that just came out, it's probably going to break more often than not. But if you have a really aged software like Salesforce or HubSpot, it's probably not going to break that much, right? They just have their stuff in a line. There's less accidents that could happen where it might break that connection. So this is just a quick little Zap. It's pretty simple when you go in there and build a Zap. You just select the software that you want. I'll actually build one in here for you, or at least show you what it looks like. That way you can see exactly the process of building a Zap here. So we're just going to hit make a Zap, and right off the bat, this is what it's going to bring you to. So you can just search, really whatever you want, right? I'm not going to go through the entire process of it, but I'm just going to use HubSpot. You just type it in right here. I'm going to use HubSpot and event trigger. So this is what would cause Zapier to start working, right? If you don't select this, Zapier is not going to do anything. You could build it, but it just won't do anything, right? So if it's a new deal, new ticket, new contact, if any of these make no sense to you, that's fine. It's probably because you don't know HubSpot, but that's okay. If we use the different one, right? We want to use Google Sheets. We can use Google Sheets, right? Choose an event, new spreadsheet, new worksheet, right? New spreadsheet row, team drive, right? New spreadsheet row, new or updated spreadsheet row. It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to this kind of stuff. Gmail, Trello, and you just type in the app that you're using. If I want to use ClickUp, right? It's ClickUp. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, right? New task, task changes, new list, new folder. I mean, it says instant on there, so it's checking it all the time, right? Multiple times a day is this happening. And then, I mean, that's it. I'm just going to use my HubSpot account just because I know something of what I need to do here. And I'm just going to do new contact, right? So if new contact is created, awesome. Choose an account, right? So I'm going to just do HubSpot. This is my account. I just happen to know my account. If you don't know it, you're just going to hit connect a new account, right? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to hit continue. And now it's going to give you all the fields that it's pulled, right? So this is a excessively long list, but when it goes through, it's pulling all of this information. So first name, last name, company, website, right? Now, if you want to add any additional properties, you can actually go through, and it should populate a list here in a second of additional properties that you might have. So Facebook username and password, right? If we're saving it for a customer, gender if you want. I mean, all vids for a contact, right? Whatever it may be, there's tons of them in here. You can make these too inside your CRM. In this case, I'm not going to grab any of these, and then you're just going to hit continue. Right? And it's going to test it. So it wants to make sure that it can get into your HubSpot account. So for example, HubSpot is now going into Zapier. I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see my fingers here. And we couldn't find a contact, right? Create a new contact. So it wants me to go back into HubSpot and just make a new contact. So that way it knows that, hey, there's a fresh contact here. Let's go get it. Now I can hit test again. It's still going to say no. So that's why I'm going to jump into a pre-existing Zap. That way you guys don't have to see the whole process. But in here, right, we have HubSpot, right, new account, or better yet, new contact, the account that we're working on, the information. Is it a Wix? I want to pull, it's a Wix lead, right? I want to text my new leads right away and just say, hey, it's Harrison, like, great to speak to you, right? And then the best part is I don't have to pick up my cell phone and send them a message every single time and hope they got it. It's the same message every single time. I don't have to worry about spelling. It's all done for me. And then the cool part is I can just hit test trigger, right? So it's going to pull out some information. I got my buddy Ben in here. This is his sales message number, actually. And it's going to, and every time you see null, it just means there's no data there. So it's null, right? It's not non-applicable. That's null is just the word for in programmers, right? And the cool part is now we can go through and we can see. So in this case, I have an action where it filters, right? Filter by Zapier. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that this Zap, right, is only going to be happening. I want something to specifically happen in here where it's grabbing only continue if it is a Wix contact, right? So if it's a yes, right, Boolean would be true, Boolean logic, yes, no. And it can only continue if it's yes. If it's no, don't continue. No need to text somebody because that's not something I really care about, right? And you could build this out however you want. You can do if then, if or else statements. You can add and or else, and or statements. So is it true? Yes. Or does it have an email address? Whatever it may be. You can go through that, right? Pretty simple. The Zap would have continued, right? Perfect. That's always good. You want to make sure you see that. When you're creating this, by the way, this magic button right here is always going to be off. So don't worry that yours isn't on yet. It's only going to be on when this whole series completes, and you're going to be able to try to flick it on. And if it goes back to off, your series is broken. You need to go back and look at it. Why I said it's a little bit of a technical process. So choose the app, right? I have my sales message. I wanted to create a new contact in there. Choose an account, right? Harrison Barron and Harrison's team. Perfect. Phone number, right? So it's pulling the phone number. It's pulling the first name. And this is all the contact. This is the data, right? Or this is the API, the text inside of there. It's just pulling that kind of stuff. So we have Ben, DeVoe, and there's his sales message number. And then we have the test action, right? So a contact was sent a sales message about a week ago. I've already tested. I set this actually up about a week ago here. And it's going to tell you, right? Like this is all the information that is now going into sales message, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted to. I wanted to grab that contact information, and it works. I know it works because I use it, right? And then the last step in the process is you choose an app or event. So in this case, obviously it's going to be sales message again, right? And I want to send a text message. If you saw right there, text, SMS, or MMS. Choose an account, right? It's obviously my account. Set up an action, right? I wanted to text him, hey, it's Harrison from Wix. I just got your request for help with your website. What do you need help with? And just starting that conversation. Cool part is this particular program has a app for my phone, so I can get the messages right on my phone like I am texting them. It is me texting them. They just send the first one for me. And then that's it. You can add a tag, right? So if this person comes in, you can add a tag. Hey, this was from a Zap or whatever it is. Really good information. And then you just want to test it. So I'm not going to test it so Ben doesn't get another message from me testing it. But that's it. You would go through, you'd hit test it. If it fails, you need to go and work one step ahead. I think there's too many people online that don't talk about what you need to do for troubleshooting. But if the current process is broken, go one step behind that. Make sure that process works, and then continue to go back and make sure that the next, or the one that you're currently working on, works. That's usually the problem. Not always, but that's usually the problem. 9 times out of 10, it's usually the step before something broke. And it might say yes, it might say good, but not always. Just because it said good, don't trust it. By the way, if you've found value in this so far, hit that like button. But that's it. You go through, you test those actions, and then you turn that little green switch on. You just hit on, right? If you want to share it out with your team or share it out with somebody, or you want to build it inside of your account and share it with your clients, or vice versa. Hey, my Zap broke. Okay, let me look at it, right? You could share this Zap out and stuff like that. And once it's on, it's on. You have to pay to have multi-steps, otherwise it's just one-to-one. So I could, in theory, break this out into 4 different things. The more you add on, the more that could go wrong. So just be careful. More often than not, people just keep adding and adding and adding, which is great, but it's guaranteed to mess up at some point or another, and it just becomes more and more fragile. More things could go wrong with it. Not saying don't do it, just be careful when you do it. That's all I say. And other than that, that's Zapier. That's Zapier in a nutshell. That's how you integrate all these different apps. That's how we send out text messages and things like that, automated, so we don't have to do it by hand. Hugely helpful. And that's it. Hope this video helps. If you guys found value in this, you guys learned what Zapier is, maybe you weren't sure, maybe you didn't know, right? This is it. We covered Zapier in 16 minutes. I mean, come on. We did good. Like, subscribe, little notification bell. See you guys in the next one. Bye.